Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rag Company podcast. I'm Dane Hennen. To my right, Anthony Fisher.
Yo, yo.
To my left, Levi Gates.
What's up, guys?
And down there, last but not least, is Morgan McMurry.
Hello.
All right, guys. Well, it's nice to be back again. Another week. Hopefully some interesting stuff happened this weekend. I see behind Levi, he's got an interesting vehicle, and it is not a virtual background. It is a real background. What's going on over
there? Let me
there?
move out of the way and give you guys a little tour. I think I can actually switch my camera around.
Are you serving parking tickets now?
For a real at-home experience.
Wow.
Look at this bad boy. 3 wheels, 1 liter, Hyundai. This thing is pretty sweet. So my buddy Wayne bought it for fun. And it's literally just there's one seat. It's automatic. It's got air conditioning. It's got a heater. But he tinted the windows. So
very nice.
It's got this sweet
oh wow
mirror on it.
NASCAR style.
Yeah, he put his 49er fuzzy dice on. But dark limo tint on here for so the haters can't see you. So but yeah, no, it's shiny. This was all horribly oxidized. Had stickers on it. He had taken a lot of stickers off, but because of it's enamel, it kind of chipped and tore a little bit. But yeah, this thing's pretty cool. This little storage box.
Whoa, that's
weep
a
holes.
Decent chunk of space.
Yeah, I had to put some weep holes in it so that it would drain properly. And then I lost my Wash Wednesday hoodie.
Oh
to
no!
This little car.
So
I used a mildew remover, and in my usage of this mildew remover, I forgot that the number one component of a mildew remover is bleach. So, needless
Black
to say,
hoodie.
I got that. Yeah, so I got that.
You
on
have
there.
an acid washed Wash Wednesday hoodie.
So now I have an acid wash Wash Wednesday hoodie.
Typically, you have to pay more for those.
Yeah.
You think so? But yeah, this little thing, it's got 60,000 miles on it. Like,
whoa,
holy crap!
That's not nothing.
No, it's got a full roll cage. Like, this thing's pretty cool. So, Augie and I took it down to the gas station yesterday afternoon and just took it for a little cruise and picked up a couple sodas. And we opened the windows and he kind of just sat on my lap and we just went down the street about a block. Oh, hands out of the way. So yeah, it was fun, but that's what I worked on this weekend was that little car. Dropped the Elantra off to get my studs taken off, have my summer wheels put back on, and then I drove this back here to the house and had it all weekend, just kind of chilling out. But it was nice this weekend, so we kind of just had the door open. The kids and the wife were doing chalk mosaics out front with sidewalk chalk and duct tape, and so yeah, we had a good little time. But this was definitely a lot harder than I thought it would be. All the different angles and shapes and curves.
There's some really concave parts of that.
Yeah, I had to go pick up our 3-inch and the hybrid. Because it was so badly oxidized. And I mean, it's still not that great, but this is all white gel coat and like industrial enamel, white powder coat on top of stuff. So it doesn't really, once it gets to a point of shininess, you can't correct, heavy scratching and stuff out of some of these surfaces.
So if it's gel coat, is it aluminum or fiberglass underneath?
It's fiberglass. Those fenders are all fiberglass. The door panels and stuff are all aluminum. It's got a full roll cage on it. The front nose is metal. So
interesting.
It's a hodgepodge. But he bought it because it was one of those things. My buddy does this. He likes to just find weird stuff and he'll buy it and then fix it up and then drive it for a while and then sell it. And so he's done that with a bunch of different stuff. And this was, he plays golf. And he thought about a golf cart for his new place, and he just built a new house, and he saw this and thought, screw it, I'll get this as a golf cart. It fits in the golf lanes. Some golf carts are gas powered, some are electric. There's no restrictions at the golf course, so he thought, why not? This is way more fun. And doors open, the back window slides open. He's going to put a stereo in it next. So he's pretty stoked about it. And it's got AC. So
I mean, that's a lot more than a typical golf cart would offer you. So
well, and it's a Hyundai engine, and it's he's like, you can fix these engines, and he can do that. And he's like, it's for him. He looked at the pros and cons of having a golf cart compared to his best. And this is street legal, so you can literally drive this on the road too. So
another benefit.
It's pretty crazy. So it was just.
So Dane, would you consider that a truck?
Oh, that? No.
Dane, you should buy this with your stimulus check.
I was looking at that and I was like, oh no, he bought something with this stimulus check. No, but I was going to ask, that back window, it's split. Does that mean it slides open on one side?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, it slides open. So yeah, it gets a nice breeze going through it. And, like I said, you can run it with both doors open or they're half doors.
Oh, so like a Jeep, you can remove the top of the door.
Yeah, let me.
Oh my God.
I was just saying, I'm going to feel really bad if it breaks right now. Oh, whoa, that's even cooler. It stays attached.
Yeah, so you keep your windows open and cruise, and you got the lower half. That's cool. Down there. So
that's honestly pretty rad.
Yeah, so.
Dane, you should buy that.
I have absolutely no use for that, but I like it. I have no use.
K20 swap it. K20 swap it.
No, I'll put a Busa in it.
Dane, you could go with Callie. Go get some burgers at the drive-in.
I would just remove the lid on the back and have her sit in that little cooler size.
Yeah. She could sit in the back there. You could actually, if you wanted to, you could probably take that front seat out and get like a Jeep jump seat.
Oh, so you kind of have a 1.5 person seat.
Because there's room on that other side over there. And you could put a little jump seat in there, and then you and Liz could cruise over. However, the gas, you'd have to sit on the end on that side. So it'd be like right-hand drive almost, because the gas pedal's on the right side. Okay. So, and the steering wheel's in the middle. So, I mean, she could probably steer. You could operate the gas and the brake. Or
I got to ask,
vice versa.
How wobbly is it over like 35 miles an hour?
Well, at 45, it got a little bit of speed wobble.
Okay.
But it might need some weight in the rear, is my guess, or maybe more weight. Better situated. But it'll do 70 apparently.
I don't know if I really want to find out what that feels like.
Yeah,
small wheels and like a central front wheel, but the back. I just always felt like that's kind of an unstable arrangement at speed. Like if you take one wrong turn at a little bit of speed,
it's got what's called a lateral thrust indicator on it that has an alarm that goes off if you've exceeded if you're getting ready to turn and you're going too fast.
The Reliant Robin could have used one of those.
Yeah. But anyway, that was it. That was it, really. I mean, we just kind of hung out here, played with this thing all weekend. If you're wondering, I used last cut and some wool is what I used, and that was it. I didn't finish it out with a foam pad or polish on the back top fiberglass. I did because that actually I got some gloss out. The sides I couldn't really get much more out of, and then I just crystal sealant. The whole thing on the outside. So everything's wearing crystal sealant, and then wiped it all down with quick detailer after about 2 hours. So
nice.
Yeah. And then interior is just a nice, easy cleanup. Everything's plastic. Actually, most of the dashboard comes out, like the top panels came out. So it's really easy. I just took them all out and cleaned them all right there. So,
that's
yeah. So for what the ease of cleanup made up for the weird shapes and panels and quirky polishing I had to deal with. But other than that, it was good. But after we're done doing the podcast, I'm gonna drive this back over to Les Schwab, drop it off, and pick up the Elantra with its summer wheels on it and a fresh set of tires. So it'll be nice riding machine for the summer. So.
Ready for performance driving.
Almost ready for some performance driving in the mountains.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a good segue. Anthony, what did you do this weekend?
Something pretty dope.
Well, mine's going to take a little bit. So, Dane, I'll let you knock out your weekend really quick, and then maybe Morgan, and then I'll talk about it. Mine's going to take a hot minute to talk about.
All right. Well, that's fine because mine will go real quick. So this weekend, I finally took it upon myself to do the radiator flush on the Mazda truck. And
what kind of butterscotch came out?
It's funny. That glittery copper colored marker we use for signatures.
Some ice cream cones?
For signatures, that's what it looks like. It's a very, very nice copper color with little metal flake in it. So it's high quality. Yeah, it's really exactly what you want coming out of your coolant.
Did you and Liz make some ice cream and pour some of that hot sauce on there?
No.
Okay,
I just poured hot water on my arm and nearly scalded myself, but I knew that going in. I was trying to figure out how long it would take before it was cool enough for me to go down there and drain during the flush. I spent a few hours doing this, so I got some real sweet sunburns, but I spent the time doing the flush, and of course you do it, then you run water through, and then eventually use the product. But before that, you got to run water through it a few times, especially when it's bad like this.
You use distilled water, right?
No.
Oh, Dane.
No. Because I needed a constant flow of water to run it through. And then when I'm done, I replace it with coolant. That's not the problem. But what I'm doing is I'm running a liquid head gasket sealer on the off chance that it'll work. I mean, I'm not 100% convinced that it will work, but at the same time, it did seem to make a little bit of difference. I'm going to change the oil at some point today just to confirm that there is a difference. But
probably tonight after work, you're going to change your oil?
Yeah. So we'll find out if that's the case, if that happens. But as far as the actual flushing goes, that took a few hours and you're going through the whole rigmarole. How long do I wait before it's cooled down? I feel like it's been half an hour already. Okay, let's go check. Open the bottom drip. And of course, I'm like, I got my gloves on, but my forearm is still exposed. Out comes the water just a little, and it shoots over. Just targeted, like right in the spot of the most sensitive skin. I'm like, oh, that's still really hot. But, at that point, I put on a long sleeve sweatshirt, sucked it up, and just went to town and got all that stuff done. So I just went through it 5-6 times. It was burning hot, but whatever. Got it done.
Can-do attitude.
And I wore sunglasses even under the car where I couldn't see, just for eye protection.
Nice.
So
yeah, smart.
I did what I had to do just to make it work. But I am happy to report. I know. So brave, stunning, and brave. But I will say it actually seemed to work out in the end. So I'm holding out hope that it does actually offer at least a temporary solution.
How awesome would it be if all this actually works? And you drive that truck for the next 5 years and you haven't had to replace the motor. How crazy would that be?
I am okay with that because if nothing else, that stimulus check has taken away some of the, in the hole I was with the truck. So I don't feel as bad about that.
If you look at it like that.
Because that was money that I didn't have and didn't need, but it appeared and now it, filled up.
Yeah, but it was your money. You paid taxes on that.
Oh, yeah. Eventually I'll have to. But you know what? I'm looking at this as a short-term gain. So it's going to be okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking on Craigslist and I saw a little truck down the street just about 2 miles away. Little Isuzu Hombre for $900.
Basically an S10.
$900 or best offer.
Oh.
Looks like it's missing a couple things like the steering column cover, some heater vents, and utilizing my knowledge of the junkyards. It's one of those things where you look at it and go, oh, I could get that for $700. I could go to the junkyard. I could clean that up. I could detail that truck. I could get the carpet kit because it's got a rubber floor. It's got the ugly seat. I get some of the nicer upholstered seats out of the Jimmys or out of the Blazers.
Yeah.
Get a nice center console. Get the nicer door panels.
You're gonna S10 all over again.
Well, you could S10 it and make it a really nice Hombre. And if you wanted to go whole hog, you get a whole front clip of an S10 front end on it. and then that all matches, and then
then it's really not an ombre anymore.
Right. But the point was, I looked at it, I was like, damn, for like a couple $100, if that mechanically runs good, which the kid had some stuff that he had done to it, you could build that truck for under $1,000, maybe right at $1,200 at the most.
Yeah,
you could put that thing on Craigslist or on Facebook Marketplace and resell it for $200. So another easy way to make money during this time, flipping cars. The only problem, I don't think people are buying cars in the rate that they should be. So
no,
I had to. My wife, my lovely wife, told me that, and I was like, "Yep, never mind. I'll not think about that." So
right now it's kind of holding pattern for a little while. So I don't expect anybody to have great luck selling a car if they were selling it before all the stuff took place, and especially now where the hardcore people are still going to be out looking, but few far between the really dedicated ones. So maybe you get lucky if you have
cars coming up.
If you have a niche product, although I can see people being more driven to do it now because they think they're going to get a deal versus before. So
now they've got some of them are getting stimulus money, so they can they got a little money to burn.
All of the Facebook group posts I see in my car groups, what car should I get for $1,200? We're like, we know what you're doing. But okay, so other than the truck flush, all that stuff, got that done. Used the Blue Devil stuff, seemed to work pretty well, so I was happy to report that. But other than that, the only other big thing I did this weekend, took some walks, went out to the park, did that kind of stuff. But also watched True Lies for the first time in like 20 years.
Ooh, nice.
Oh my God. I forgot what an awesome movie that was. I mean, there's definitely some stuff that you go, oh, that's not okay today. But at the same time, it's such an awesome movie. Such an awesome movie.
I watched Fish Called Wanda.
Oh, another good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Really great. Fun stuff. And forgot how
going back to the 90s.
Jamie Lee Curtis is.
There's more Jamie Lee Curtis for you.
I know. Yeah. Right. Just like, holy cow. So.
No, good stuff. Good stuff. And had a lot of fun. But I just forgot how awesome that movie was. Like when I thought, it's going to be 90s, kind of top out of somebody. No, it goes more extreme. I totally forgot a lot of the scenes. So I was like watching it for the first time again. But good times. So anyway, that was me. How about you, Morgan? What went on in your neighborhood?
So Saturday, so Saturday I started polishing my wheels because they're just like basically bare metal. So literally anything that touches them just ruins them. So I was polishing those, and then it got dark, so I only did the passenger side, and then I put my car back in, and that was pretty much the only exciting thing that I did on Saturday. And then apparently Brandon wanted to take apart his car after I finished my car. He was like, let's take all my wheels off. And I was like, why? And he was like, I want to clean everything because I want to sell it. And I was like, it's 9:00
at night on a Saturday night.
Yeah, but
he wants to sell the beige mobile.
Yeah,
it's a military vehicle, so
if you see it on Facebook Marketplace, then
don't laugh.
It's there. Anyways. So we jacked it up and put it all on jack stands and then took the wheels off. And then that was it for Saturday. And then Sunday, basically, I just did some stuff around the house. And then this is one very exciting thing about Sunday. Have you guys ever tried taking the canned cinnamon rolls and putting it in a waffle iron?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I just found that out. Yeah. So I did that on Sunday. That's awesome. And I was like, my life has changed.
That. Yeah.
And that's the best thing I've ever had now. So I was excited about that. And then after that, I went outside and finished my wheels and washed them and then got all the overspray off. And then I tried out, I think it's the ceramic wheel. I don't know what it was that I brought back home because I took the metal polish and then it was like a ceramic wheel something.
Okay.
but I put that on.
We've been doing some product testing with a couple different brands. So I got a bunch of boxes of stuff, and so we basically just all of us have grabbed what we wanted to play with.
A pinata of goodies.
Yeah,
exactly. So I was playing around with that, and then finished up my wheels, got everything cleaned up, and then Brandon wanted to clean like the entire underside of like his fenders and like all of his suspension stuff, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
Does he think buyers are going to be looking under there?
No, I don't know what he wanted. I was just like, why do you want to do this? But then he started doing it, and it was making me mad because I was like, no, you're doing it wrong, so just give me it.
So unless it's in a museum or a garage queen, there's really not a need to.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, we were just like, I think just trying to do something because we were bored and we just wanted to be outside. And obviously it's in the garage, so like what am I gonna do with all the water that I'm spraying off of here? So we took sleds and put it underneath to catch the water.
That's smart. That's a smart idea.
So that's what I did, and then I ordered Red Robin and ate some chicken strips, and then that was pretty much it.
Nice, not bad. You ever find your stimulus check? Did you ever find out what happened to that?
Yeah, so I remember before people were like, oh, like just go to the website, like the IRS website, and you can track it. Yeah. And so I would type in like all my information, and then it was always like, oh, status not available. And so I like clicked on, it was like, see why you might be getting this. Yeah. And so I clicked on it, and it was like, you may not be eligible for one. And then I was confused because my parents already got like theirs. And so I was like, that's weird. Like, are they doing it by last name? Like, how are they doing it? And I was like, okay, like maybe I just don't get one because there was nothing coming up. And then I didn't know if they were going off my old tax return and they skipped over me or something. So I was like, whatever. I was just accepting the fact that I wasn't getting free money. And then Levi was like, oh, like just go check. And I was like, oh, might as well just go check again. And then it said that I was getting it on Wednesday.
Oh,
so.
Nice.
Okay.
There you go.
I was worried for you because you said you filed, and when you said you filed, it sounded like it was after the checks were being cut. So it sounded like they were going to use your previous year's taxes when you weren't actually independent. Yeah. So
that's why I was like, no.
That could have been a really that would have been a bummer.
It would have been very unfortunate.
Anthony got his. And then that morning I also checked mine, and I had received mine.
And I couldn't find mine. I was like, "Move."
And Morgan, you were waiting, and Dane, you couldn't find yours. You were like, "It's weird. It's not in my account."
No,
I wonder. You were in the same boat.
So I thought I just didn't receive it. And I was like, "Oh, am I one of the folks who was unfortunate and missed out, or what?" Because I was like, I used direct deposit. Well, what I later found out was I went through like Credit Karma and did their tax thing this year, and it worked out great. But part of it was they made the whole process go easier for you if you. No charge or anything, but simply use their like savings account feature through their stuff so that it would direct deposit from the IRS to that. So what I found was when I went and looked
instead of your own account.
Yeah. So rather than my local bank account, it went to my savings account that I had my return go to this year. Okay. So that's where I got tripped up, and I didn't even think to look at that. And that's why I couldn't find it. I had no idea. I went like a week without bothering to check there, and then, oh, hello. So you live and you learn, but
nice.
It was the last thing I used. So anyway, if you haven't found yours,
so we're all
just saying.
So everyone's aware there's an Isuzu Hombre in the East Boise for sale. It's a really great deal. I think could make some money for somebody if somebody wants to pick it up, clean it up. So
I'll stick to my Ford's version of an Hombre for now.
But it's another little truck, Dane, and it's an Isuzu, so it's weird for you.
Oh no, it's basically the Mazda B series, but for GM. So it'd
probably be perfect.
No more. Anthony, what did you do?
Wrong with it too.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right. So Friday night, it was my friend's birthday, and we went over to her house. It was just a couple of us there for social distancing, of course, and it was just a pretty chill night. Found out that an owner of a restaurant was murdered, I think Friday night, or that's still up in the air, the debate of this whole thing. It's a big restaurant here in Boise called Barbacoa.
Well,
and
you guys have probably heard about it.
Yeah, it's on. You can look it up on
it's
on
one of
the
those.
news.
Every town has like the restaurant. They're like, oh, that's the nice restaurant. Like people look and they say,
Yeah.
If you're in a smaller town, there's usually the one that like sticks out, and this is like that one.
Well, no,
Oh,
backstory. Barbacoa is a restaurant, and I'm sure I think Jeff and Carol have taken a few of the folks that have come to visit to Barbacoa for dinner. So it's a very nice restaurant.
Yeah.
It's right on a little pond, Park Center Pond. It's right around the corner from my house. And it's a good time. It's a nice place. I, for one, have never eaten there ever in my life.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
So
What?
Well, Morgan, it's what's called a fancy restaurant, and I don't go to those kinds of things.
You can literally go there to get a lemonade and tableside guac, and you will have the time of your life.
Yeah, but I don't have $100.
That would be $30.
Lemonade and guac. That's still
That's still so much.
$30 for lemonade and guac. I can go to Red Robin next door and get eat for free.
Kiss your check goodbye.
Yeah.
After a few of those.
But anyway, no, the Anthony, we've all known Anthony always loves to talk about going to Barbacoa. It's one of those fancy places. He's always talked about liking that. Morgan, you've been there probably with your folks or
no, she's
other friends
there.
So a lot of people go, but the point was back in 2009, the place burned down.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
It was pointed at and investigated that the owner of the restaurant burned the building down himself.
Yikes.
To get insurance money, because when they arrested him for the arson, they found with their search warrant lots of meth and coke in his home safe.
Who put that there?
Along with a lot of cash. Then they found out he'd been tied to a bunch of different drug runners and others. Anyway, point was he sold the company to his wife or something, and then they were able to build the restaurant. They built it nicer. It's full of a ton of art.
Oh, that's one of those things where they give away the company to someone else, but they still basically have control over it. And there's hardly any real difference.
So fast forward 10 years, one of the biggest things, the hardest things when that business burned down in 2010 or 8 was how much art it had in it. They had a value of like $2 million, $2 or $3 million in just art in the building, and sculptures and paintings and all this stuff. So with the new facility, that was another big thing they wanted to be able to buy and spend money on. So, but one thing they said is this place sells more alcohol than any other place in the Treasure Valley. Their cost of alcohol volume that they purchased was $500,000.
Dang.
That's how many people go to this restaurant and drink at that restaurant, because they make martinis, they make all kinds of fancy drinks and stuff. But
bear in mind the
$500,000
cost
in alcohol.
Yeah, the fraction of what they actually make.
Lots of art, lots of fancy booze, all that stuff. But then, Anthony, go back to your story. So, the owner of this restaurant, who had been previously arrested for arson and coke and meth possession, did some time, did some rehab. What happened this weekend?
Well, it's really weird because it's like up in the air. The whole situation was basically that they had found that I'm just going to say it, that his throat was cut open, right? And he was initially, the story was that he was found dead in his home, right?
Right. And the newspaper's still saying that.
Yes, correct. Now,
so we're throwing the word allegedly out here because even though we're not journalists, we're making sure that we're not throwing something out there if it's
and then through the grapevine, other people have been talking locally because Boise's pretty small. If you don't know somebody, you know somebody that knows somebody, and now they're saying that the guy apparently was at the restaurant and he was drinking and he ended up falling and hurting his neck, and then he went back home. And then he drove home, and then he was home, he woke up and then he was like, okay, my neck really hurts. What's going on? So then he went to the hospital, and they went to the hospital, and the hospital pronounced him brain dead in like 2 hours. And then somebody pulled the plug on him within a few hours after that, which sounds like another
sounds fake.
Yeah, that
how
also
does he
ow,
cut
my
his
neck hurts,
and then go ow, and then be
and then
well,
Yeah,
apparently he had noticed some type of like laceration, but I mean, who knows, man? Like it's such a weird, and like the thing is I feel like there's a scene here within Boise of probably really wealthy people, right? That probably have connections and stuff like that I'm sure would cover something up. I mean, I don't know. I'm just obviously I don't know.
Let's just put this guy's already had shady dealings with others in the past.
If you've watched Breaking Bad or Ozark or something like that, you have an idea of how this stuff works. But yikes.
But the whole situation was, and the reason why I found out was from a worker, of somebody that actually worked there, and let us know. And it was just kind of a whole bizarre thing. But anyways, that was my Friday night. And then Saturday was pretty nice. I went out for a motorcycle ride, went and hit Bogus Basin, and just kind of cruised around for a little bit. Just overall, I'd say pretty chill day. And then Sunday, I was going to install like a new shifter on my car, on my Honda Civic. And I had this whole plan that I was gonna, make a little video on it and show people how to do it. And then last minute, a friend says, "Hey man, there's a group getting together and we're going on a drive, and we're doing the Loman Loop up in Idaho, and it's about 150 miles around, and it's a decent drive. It's literally 150 miles, pretty much through canyons and mountains and
some of the best twisties you're gonna get.
Yeah, so some of the best twisty turns that you could ask for." And everybody's like, we'll come out. There's gonna be a bunch of other really cool cars here, and it's gonna be we'll keep our social distance and all this, but we really just want to go for a drive. And I'm one of those guys where I don't really like doing things that last minute like that, especially when it comes to something that it's not just as simple as a drive, right? Everybody thinks a cruise is a cruise. A cruise is never a cruise. The second you get up into the mountains and you're with a bunch of fast cars, everybody's it doesn't turn into a race, but it turns into a very spirited drive. And people are asking, "Oh, bring your Evo out." And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to bring the Evo." And because if I might want to take some video of this, it would be kind of cool to see. I would like to bring the Civic, considering, I've got some suspension stuff done to it. I kind of want to see how it performs. So I ended up bringing the car, met at like a Home Depot. And to my surprise, there was a ton of really cool cars. I'd probably say there was over 20 people there. But there was GT4, there was a Lamborghini Gallardo, there was a Viper GTS, there was oh my gosh, there's 2 or 3 GTRs, ZL1,
nice.
2 Evos, there was a Chevelle, there was oh my gosh, an S2000. Basically, every single car there had probably double, if not quadruple the horsepower that I have in my Honda Civic. And so
right.
I had the slowest car there. There was even a Ford Explorer there.
I was gonna say, I see it over your shoulder right there. It's
that Ford Explorer is on E85 and puts down 585 wheel horsepower.
Oh,
and so it's
a
not
boosty
like,
boost.
Yeah, so it's not like when I pulled up, he was like, "Oh, I might be the slowest car here." He's like, "Oh no, Anthony's here. Anthony's the slowest car." And
wait, so you're telling me that gold V70 was faster than the other?
Absolutely, the thing was boosted, and I think the guy was saying that thing was putting down 300 wheel horsepower.
Oh, so that thing's tuned up a bit then.
Oh yeah, it was quick, and so we ended up meeting there, hanging out for a little bit, and then kind of getting on the road. And we did a couple pit stops at the gas station, and kind of how car drives go. You drive, you stop, you talk, you chat, you get back on the road, you do that. Well, it was a good time, and then we started getting up into the mountains, and I'm pretty much in the middle of this entire line of people going. And these guys are in high performance cars, and these guys are really getting on it. So needless to say, I'm like, well, I don't want people passing me, so I'm going to get on it as well. So I was throwing that Civic into turns at 85 miles an hour, and I could not believe I'm sitting here kind of scared, but like also trying to remain confident and cool. And it did surprisingly well. The only downside is that I was rubbing my tires on my front and rear fenders so bad that I was smelling rubber the entire time. And I'm sitting here like, holy crap, dude, I am destroying my car. Like my fenders have to be complete toast. We made a couple stops. You know, I go around, I kind of examine things, and to my surprise, like everything was fine. You know, no paint chippings or anything like that. So we get back on the road, and this time we're actually going through Lowman, and Lowman actually still had snow on the ground, right? They had snow, and the street sweepers still had not gone through and cleaned up all of the rocks and gravel.
Oh,
so
I
made a mistake, and I keep in mind these cars are driving pretty close to each other. We're probably maybe two to three car lengths in between each other taking these turns. I'm behind Jason in his Evo, and everybody had kind of been joking around like, oh, Anthony's not going to be able to keep up, you know, between these other cars. And I'm like, you know what, I'll see what it's got. So to prove a point, I was on Jason's butt for about 30 miles, right? Jason has extremely sticky tires on his car. He kicked up probably every single grain of sand on me possible. I'm talking sand, rocks, you name it. And at the time, I'm sitting here like, Anthony, like, you know better than this, but it was kind of like an adrenaline rush. I'm like, well, this
your
is
competitive
fun.
attitude wasn't going to let it go to waste.
Like, I'm like, I'm having a good time. Like, I don't want to back off, right? And especially because Jason, the whole entire time, he had been telling me, he's like, I can't believe that you were on my butt this entire. He's like, were you just were you in like 5,000 RPM the entire time? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I was pretty much driving that car, you know,
back in tech.
And we hit tons of potholes. We hit tons of things. There was giant boulders in the road that we had to swerve around. There's all sorts of different things that had fallen off the passes there. And I think the next stop, it was like the second to last stop we make, everybody is getting out of their car and running to the front of their car because everybody's freaking out. Like, holy crap. Like,
we just drove a bad idea.
Yeah, we just drove our cars through hell. This was a horrible idea. And I get around to the front of my car. You know, thankfully, my car is already pretty damn rock chipped. Like, you know, but right off the bat, I noticed about 10 new chips on my hood. My windshield had a couple nice little chips in it. But what I noticed was not so much the larger chips. It was just the sand blast is what it was. So there's just, you know, lots of specks of everything all over my glass that, you know, aren't coming out. And my freshly painted lip that I worked so hard on has a couple new chips in it, which sucks, but you know, it's all kind of part of it.
PPF it.
But I was, I was going through, my tires are completely, they were cut into pretty good, I would say, going around some of those corners. But we were all laughing because, you know, we're never driving our cars that hard, and we're never putting our cars through that kind of stuff. What I felt the worst about, right, was that there was a brand new Supra there, right? And the brand new Supra hadn't gone in for PPF yet. And so the brand new Supra, when she got out and walked around her car, she had a vertical crack going from the top to the bottom of her windshield. And this car is like less than a month old. So that sucked for her. And then the guys in the Porsches, they had PPF, but still got their windshields pretty bad. So pretty much all of our cars got hammered. I mean, it was fun. It was a good time. But like, realistically, if I would have known that going into it, you know, I probably maybe wouldn't have gone on it. I was happy to see what that little car could do up in the corners. I was very surprised. But everybody, you know, was like, well, are you glad you didn't bring your Evo? And I'm like, dude, if I would have brought that car, you wouldn't have seen me for a week. I would have been in such a bad mood. And I feel bad because even Jason was like, I shouldn't have brought my car. Like, I just coated his with Crystal Serum Ultra. His car was looking its absolute best. He's got another couple gnarly chips on the front of his car, as well as rock chips all over his windshield. And so, the way I saw it is, it would have been a good opportunity at that last stop to go around and pass out business cards saying, "Hi, I do Dr. Color Chip. Hit me up. Hit me up. I can do chip repair if you would like." And so,
that would be good business right there.
Overall, though, it was fun. Like I said, it's not something that we do often. So, like, at the same time, like, it kind of sucks that our cars got beat on so bad. And I'm, who knows how my clutch is holding up now after doing all of that. But it was, like I said, it was fun. It was a good time. I probably won't do that again until the roads get cleared up for sure. But Dane was like, man, I wish I would have got the invite to do that. And I'm glad that he didn't, because his Jag would have been hammered.
And a black car would have, eaten it. The one thing I think about is, okay, for those who haven't done this sort of thing, this is not like going down the freeway. This is not like going up a local, highway in your town. These are mountain roads, and the kind of stuff you encounter on there is going to be a little more hardcore because it's trafficked less. So, I mean, they're expecting family SUVs and trucks and stuff going up and down these, maybe the occasional motorcycle or something. So they'll sweep it here and there. But we're just right after winter. And obviously, with the weird way things are going on, services haven't been totally consistent. You're going to run into some big rocks, some nasty sand, gravel, you name it. It's all out there. And this road in particular is a hotspot for all that. But it's such a good road. You're really trying to balance how much you're willing to damage and how much you're willing to enjoy it in spite of that. So
you're riding along the river, and it's just, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, I'm talking like there's like breathtaking views in certain areas where you just have to stop and look because of how pretty it is. Especially now, since all the snow is mostly melted. It's just extremely green, right? So everything's super green. In the summertime, it gets very dry and kind of yellow and brown.
Forest fires happen there.
And then that's when forest fires happen. But it was just absolutely beautiful. But like I said, man, I mean, I was, I had my grip on that steering wheel expecting like, if I hit something wrong, who the hell knows what's going to happen. And I'm on a $500 suspension setup. And I was.
Your car came factory with double wishbones, though, so you had an advantage over other economy cars.
Yeah. But it did. It was a good time. All rubbing aside, and we ended up getting back on the freeway. Everybody headed home, and of course, all the fast cars did some pulls with each other. And the second, it was just like go to town at the Gowan entrance, and so. Did that. I came home, cleaned off the front of my car, did some damage control, and just kind of looked around like, how bad is everything? And everything seemed okay. It could have been a lot worse, but it also could have been better. So needless to say, I'm going to be doing some Dr. Color Chip on the front of the car, getting a lot of those new chips cleared up. The funniest part about it, though, front bumper was already pretty hammered. My new lip was flawless. Now it has some chips in it. But my grill of all things, flawless. Nothing, not even a speck on it. And I'm just sitting here amazed because that's probably the one thing that's worth the most on that whole front end. And but did that. And then I built a fire pit when I got home. So we're gonna. Nice. So I built a fire pit. So tonight, me and Katie are gonna go get some Texas Roadhouse, get some fire, or get some wood, and then eat it by the fire and do something nice like that.
Nice. So that'll be cool. I also had a fire last night. Did some s'mores with the kids. Yeah.
In the Dothraki pleasure tent.
Yep. Yeah. Sat around there, popped out a couple s'mores, and it was good times. So, but no, I always thought it'd be fun to go do one of those runs. I have the perfect car for it. It's an automatic 2006 Hyundai Elantra. I found an 04 Anthony on Facebook Marketplace for $500 if you'd like to build one. That'd probably be the next Anthony project. Could be an 04 Elantra. Yeah. So then you could do Levi, all that stuff, and then you could keep up with those guys. You only need 120 horsepower.
No, honestly, my old Miata would have been the perfect car for that because I didn't care how chipped up it got. It was the perfect car for that. And you could still dress it up, make it look cool, but you never had to worry about expensive replacement parts.
You buy it, you pull the motor, you go get a 2.4 from the Sonata, you put that in, you put all your Evo stuff on it that you want.
Swap the
turbo. And then you've got a front wheel drive, 300 horse, turboed Elantra, and you put all the Tiburon suspension.
A good looking car.
And then you're good to go. Oh, could you imagine all those people?
It's like a melted Evo.
Yeah. You pulled up, people were like, what is this?
Like, where's the body lines? I'm like, it came that way.
It's like an Evo that somebody overinflated.
Yeah.
It's a little round, a little puffy around the edges. It's a doughy Evo.
But really, that's the best thing for that kind of mountain stuff. You get something that can handle well, and you put a crazy engine in it, and you make it so it's something where you're not worried so much about, hurting it.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing. Was like I'm sitting here, and 2 years ago, wouldn't have cared. I would have driven that car through literally, sand dunes, and I wouldn't have cared. But now it's kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, it is getting nicer, and I am spending a lot of time doing certain things to it. But at the same time, I'm also trying to tell myself, well, hey, I put I put the suspension on, I did all this work, I put on wider tires, I put on wider wheels. I did all this for a reason, right? Because functionally it functions, but it also looks really good. So I was like, well, you know what? Hell, why not? But at the same time, I am glad it wasn't the Evo, even though the Evo would have probably been the most fun ever on that road. I just would have, like I said, I would have been probably crying right now. So
it's fair.
It is what it is. But next time we do one of those mountain runs, I will definitely invite you guys so you guys can come out and do something.
Morgan would be the loudest card there.
Well,
oh my God.
It's so when we were talking, we were at the stop, right? A couple of those guys have motorcycles, right? And we were talking, and we were like, well, a slow car would, is still fun doing that kind of stuff, but oh man, but a fast car is the best thing you can do. And that's when the guys with the motorcycles are like, whoa, wait. No. A slow car is fun. A fast car is more fun, but a motorcycle is going to be the most fun that you can have on there. And I think that that would be the biggest adrenaline rush, in terms of.
You step up the danger and risk, it becomes more fun. It's basically.
Oh man.
Well, if you look at it, what's fun though, Anthony, is you've done this same loop now in 3 of your vehicles.
Yeah,
I have. I did it and to be honest, I would say that the Grom was more fun than the Honda Civic, but the Triumph is more fun than the Grom. But I have. So 3 of my vehicles I've done this run with, and I have my thoughts.
Well, now you just need to do it in Katie's 4Runner with the dogs and Katie, and go up there, let them play in the river, and then come back home. Just do a day trip.
Yeah,
it'll probably. Just so you know, she might get car sick coming down that hill, and your dogs might also get car sick coming down the hill.
What?
Just so you may have to detail it afterwards.
Oh yeah,
that's the problem with when we do that loop. Is my whole family gets car sick.
Well, that's the beauty of the 4Runner is you roll down that back window and you force the dogs to stick their heads out until they're done.
Yeah, right. Oh, well, I cleaned up all my bikes this weekend. I got them all washed and ready to rock and roll for this summertime season. We were going to go for a ride last night, but it got to a point where I'm changing out my background. Hold on a second here. It got to a point where it was just like the kids were done. At the end of the day, they were done. But we wanted to try and go for a ride, but I took it was fun. Carly took Hadley to my mother-in-law's to drop her off. For those of you wondering, my mother-in-law is the only one that is allowing us to have contact with her and vice versa. So she comes over every day just to hang out. My parents are very jealous of this. But she doesn't go anywhere, so she hangs out with us.
Sure.
So she took Hadley for the day just to go color. And so Carly rode her bike over there with Hadley on the bike. And then I hopped on my cruiser bike to go pick her up. So it was nice to get a little jaunt out, go for a little cruise. Realized I'm horribly out of shape. Haven't been on a bike all winter, and riding a beach cruiser to my mother-in-law's. It was a heavy bike. My seat was a little too low. I was huffing and puffing, and I only went like a mile down the road, like 3/4 of a mile. So, needless to say, I need to get back in the saddle, so to speak. And those Peloton bikes are looking nicer and nicer, but I don't think I could justify buying one. So, but yeah, even got the tandem all cleaned up. So anybody wants to borrow it,
G. Davis and Dane,
be a good time. Lars and Ram rode the tandem to Anthony's rehearsal dinner.
That's right.
So
they did.
It was a festive day for them to do that. So
one of my favorite memories.
Yeah, good time. So Morgan, if you and Brandon need to borrow it for a little, if you just need to get out of the house, I'll leave it on the side of the road for you. You guys can just come by and hop on it, go for a ride.
Well, make sure you adjust it so that they can both actually reach the pedals with their legs.
Well, I'll put the seat down on both seats.
That's thoughtful.
If you have a kid seat, can you put it on?
No, but it would be
attach a little trailer bike on it.
I used to.
Brandon back there.
It was a freight train back in the day with a trailer and a baby seat, and you put 4 of us on that thing. But I will say, Morgan, it's better to be the captain than the stoker. So I would, if it was, I would tell you to be the captain and make Brandon the stoker, because then you just start pedaling and ride. You go, you direct the traffic. All he has to do is help pedal. So then you don't have to yell at him so much.
Right. Yeah.
So,
all right, supplemental motor, go.
Yeah, basically, you just yell at him, pedal faster.
He's like a small electric motor.
Yeah.
Yeah. See it as that. Like
an RC car.
Yeah. So, but no, it was fun. I got the bikes cleaned up, and the kids rode theirs around the neighborhood, which was always fun. God, I can't believe how nice it was this weekend.
It was.
It was perfect. Yeah, it was literally 70-degree day. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything better than 70-degree weather, in my opinion.
No,
it's the perfect weather.
Boise tends to skip that pretty quickly, though. That's the problem. We have the 70s for like a week or two.
We won't have it again,
and then it's just a scorcher the rest of the spring and summer.
Yeah, we'll probably have it again in May, and then that's it. So, but yeah, no, but we've got some stuff coming this week.
Yeah.
For the folks, we've got a couple more podcasts that are going to be dropping. So those
we've shot some like every day, basically.
Staying tuned and sticking with us, we appreciate it. If you're, we'll have some more this week, and then we've got more people that we're going to be interviewing this week. A couple that I think they're going to be kind of new to you've heard their names, but they're going to be kind of new to the family, so to speak. So we're excited to interview them, see how they're doing, what's been going on. We were talking to Justin Pate last week. If you guys hadn't listened to that one, he's in the Netherlands, so go back and maybe listen to that.
Yeah, go check
that one out. It's a really good story, and just like what other industries are doing and maybe what you should be doing. So for those of you that are kind of stuck trying to think of new ideas and things to do, I'd look into that kind of stuff, especially rap and vinyl. Because I look at this thing. You could do so much fun stuff with this.
Oh, yeah.
You could wrap this little thing and do all kinds of crazy things. But we're we're going to be going in this week. We've gotten the lift installed at the new studio. It still needs to be synced. So each side's kind of going like this when it comes up. So we've still got to spend about half a day working on that. We've got flooring coming this week. So by next Monday, it should be fully floored, which will be really nice. So you guys I'm sure you'll see the dramatic change of that. And then this week, the game plan for the new studio space is to get the airlines installed. So My favorite part is that your dad got rid of the lift just in time for us to go back up that high up. So I'm really excited about doing all the airlines and hanging them from the ceiling on a ladder.
Oh, lift. You mean genie lift. Sorry, you said get rid of the lift after talking about the lift. I was
no, I meant the floor. So the scissor lift is in the floor, but then we had a little genie scissor lift for driving around and doing lighting and electrical and all that stuff. And that's gone bye-bye. So I get to hang all this stuff on the ladder. So Anthony and I will be suspended high above the 14-foot ceilings on ladders, hanging pipe like we do.
Yeah.
We'll attach it to some Peter Pan wires so you can just fly around.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah. We'll need a couple of wires for support for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what we do, Anthony, is we get some bungee cords. And we do like some old school American Gladiators where like you would jump off the tower and it would like, you would jump back up and it would pull you up and you grab the ball off the side and try and bounce back to your platform to get it. And we just do that. And then we can just, jump off of things and then attach those airlines.
Sounds like a good, mature use of our time.
What was Nickelodeon's Temple of the?
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
Legends of the Hidden Temple. That's what I would want. I would want something more of that scenario.
Okay, I've never seen that. Different time period for me with the American Gladiators.
For us 90s kids, that's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's shaped like a temple, kind of similar situation.
Yeah.
But so it'll we've got to get those hung. We're gonna hopefully get the rest of our pieces for our DI water system so we can get that finished installed. We'll have now access to DI water at least for ourselves. So Morgan, if you need any spot-free water, you just come over and fill up a bucket.
Perfect.
And drive home with it. So that'll be nice.
Yeah.
And your dad bought a magnet to pick up all the nails and screws.
Ooh.
Throughout our building. So for those of you wondering, like this has been a construction site. So it's amazing how many nails and screws we've had to pick up on the ground when we've been walking around.
Nobody will want to drive a nice car there until we've done this part.
So earlier last week, I drove the Suburban into the studio so that we could place it, so we could get an idea and size reference for a very large vehicle, and where to, kind of square up where to put the lift. Once I parked, I found a bolt in the side of my sidewall of the Suburban. Thankfully, we were able to pull it out, and it was in one of the lugs, so it didn't go puncture the tire or anything. So that was good. But I was like, I should have checked before I pulled in. So then the rest of the week, Anthony and I were laughing at all the different nails and screws and things we were finding in random spots. And we were very thankful that Dane didn't drive his car in on Friday because we kept thinking he was going to pull into the building with the door open. And we just imagined that his tires would look like porcupines when
I just parked next to you. That's all.
Yeah. So your dad and I on Saturday, he went and picked up a magnet. And when I went by the store on Saturday to pick up some polishers, he was running that magnet down through the cracks in between the concrete in the studio.
Oh,
and he was pulling like
pulling knives out.
Knives, no, like sharpened pieces of steel. Oh, like knives and nails and screws and all kinds of stuff out of the cracks. And I was like, this is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So we're going to have to go around the perimeter with that, picking them up, because all of us are going to have flat tires if we pull in that and park in that
absolutely.
area. So, I'm surprised you and the motorcycle, you've been parking in there every time you come in, and the motorcycle's been just fine.
You got fat tires on that thing.
Yeah, motorcycles, they don't tend to, is weird. I mean, I've never gotten, knock on wood, I've never gotten a nail in a tire on a motorcycle tire.
Well, because you're still alive here with us. Otherwise,
well, motorcycle tires are just a little bit more awkward to get a nail into. Like maybe a very, very short screw, if that screw was obviously pointing upward, maybe. But they're just kind of more of an awkward thing to get a nail into. So I'm usually not that worried. Is
it because the contact patch is actually very thin and it's curved?
I would say, well, yes, because typically it causes like
rubber.
Yeah, well, so the middle
For rolling
compound is
resistance?
extremely hard, right? So you have
Yeah.
that very, very, very tough middle size rubber. I mean, I'll get rocks stuck in that middle rubber that'll pop out, and that tread is deep enough and hard enough to where it doesn't do a whole lot. It would be if it got into the side rubber where the compound was softer, that would be where it would happen.
But you would have to be leaning at that point for it to happen. So
yeah, like I said, it's just more awkward to do than a big truck or something that will pick those things up.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Are we still figuring out our Q&A guests this week?
No. Well, yes and no. I reached out to that person. They seemed last night to be very excited to be on the Q&A.
Okay.
My guess is they are still asleep at this point.
Yeah.
And so as soon as they read that, I'm sure this afternoon we will get a response. But I think our fans are really going to like it. And I think they're going to be very surprised when they see who we've got for the Q&A. So fingers crossed it all works out. And then possibly next week, we will also have another a good Q&A guest, which I think will be a lot of fun. So if we can get him. So it'll be some fun. We're working on trying to get some more just, maybe people that you guys haven't heard about or haven't talked to, or maybe don't have that big of social media presence, but also getting in some of these people with very large social media presences to try and get them on and talk and chat and see what's going on. So
for those in the audience, if you guys want to suggest some people we should talk to, reach out to, maybe have as a guest, by all means, leave it in the comments below. Tell us who you'd like to see on here, and we'll see if we can get in touch with them. Obviously, no promises, no guarantees, but at the same time, it's always good to at least put a word out so you kind of have an idea of what you guys are interested in. So let us know.
And then a reminder on at the end of the live Q&A on Thursday, right when we finish, starts you can switch over to the Leader Zentrum YouTube channel and see the live Q&A with Ram and Lars and myself and Terry from Australia. So we'll be literally just bouncing over. So party, if you guys are all still up and partying and wanting to keep the live Q&A action going, we're gonna have like 4 hours of content. Let me tell you, I'm excited about being in front of my phone here in the MOS HQ for 4 hours on Thursday. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
and Anthony's gonna be there.
Nice cushy seat.
Anthony's gonna be there with me, answering all your questions about leather repair and all that stuff. So it's gonna be amazing. Oh, I gotta plug in my phone. I got 20% power left.
Whoop. Excuse me.
Yep.
Sorry, coughing fit. I'm sure Tim will edit this out so people don't have to suffer through it. All right. So thank you to everybody for listening, for watching, especially watching, because today was a particularly visual podcast. So if you haven't watched it and you don't know where to find it and you're listening to this somewhere on audio, go to YouTube, type in the Rag Company podcast and go to our channel and make sure you're subscribed to it and click the bell so you know when we come out with new stuff. And if you're ever looking for the audio version and you're watching the video, you can go right to the description below the video. We include the link to the audio, the actual original library file, so you have the best quality one, and everything else is taken care of from there. So that pretty much does it. Guys, till next time, this is us saying adios.
See ya.
See ya.